It's time for an upcycle. Let's make some curtain slip covers for some thrifted bar stools. Check it out. So I have these two curtain panels, very long, very thick, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna use these to cover these bar stools that we have. They're little bar stool chairs that just slide in. They're okay, but I wanted to just warm them up a little bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a very easy slip cover. You're gonna need one top piece and then a piece for each side, so a total of 5 pieces. Only need to measure one time. You're gonna take your bar stool, lay it flat on top of your fabric, cut out a piece that's about 1 inch wider all the way around to give yourself some seam allowance. Do that on all 4 sides to make your little pattern pieces, and then you're gonna take your one pattern that you have and you're gonna cut the rest of your bar stool patterns. So you only need to cut one time to create 4 patterns for all the chairs because you want them all to match. Put the top piece on the very top just to make sure it fits right, because everything is about the measurement. If you get your measurements right, everything else will fall into place. So now I've got my 2 wide sides, my 2 skinny sides, and what I will place in between is the top piece. So it will look something like this, but what you're gonna do is you're going to flip it all over, because that's how we line it up to put our stitching in. Again, you can use fabric glue. You would run it along the inside of the seam and alligator clip it. Probably take about a full day to dry, or you can just match up your sides, make sure everything's nice and even, and then run a straight stitch right along that side. So everything is gonna connect to that center piece. Just like this, you're gonna do this on this side and then the other 3 sides. Just that straight stitch with your sewing machine or hand sew straight down. Again, you could use some fabric glue in between and alligator clip it. It will end up looking like this. I have stitched all the sides. So basically what you're doing is you're stitching the like sides together. Don't worry about what the underneath looks like. You don't have to do a French seam or anything. No one's gonna notice the underneath. But then if I flip it over, you'll see how it's got that perfect, nice finished seam. And I used the edge of the curtain so I didn't have to rehem it on the bottom. The measuring is the most important part. So when you're measuring the sides and the top, just give yourself about 1 inch seam allowance on each side. And then that first cut for all the 5 pieces you do, that's what you use to cut for the other 3 bar stools. Then I place it on top of the bar stool just so I can kind of get an idea of what it looks like, but you see how it's all falling into place. Now all you have to do is stitch down these corners or use some fabric glue, but you're not going to do it this way. You're going to flip it the other direction. And now that's where you're going to come through and do your straight stitch. Straight stitch down the side all the way to the bottom on all 4 corners, or just a little bit of fabric glue on the inside of that fabric. Hold it together with alligator clips. And then once you've got all of those stitched, you've got your completed slip cover. It's really just like putting a little puzzle to piece. Again, the most important thing is just getting that first measurement right, measuring all 4 sides and the top with 1 inch seam allowance. Then you turn it right side out. You make sure your corners are nice and pointed out with your finger just so it all lays right, and then you slide it right on your bar stool. I want to see how I made some really great chair covers for my mom out of an old blanket. I can repost that for you as well. It's really quite simple. Again, it's just about putting the pieces together and measuring correctly. And then you just slide it over your little bar stool. This is really easy. You could do this over an ottoman, tons of different things you could do. One thing I do make sure is that I don't let the fabric completely touch the ground. I like it like a 1/2 inch above the ground. That's just how I measure, because I have 2 German Shepherds and I don't need all that hair stuck up on the end of it. So I just have it barely grazing the floor. You can measure it however you want. It's really up to you. And then that's it. It's warmed up that stool, those thrifted stools. I've got 4 of them. I will show them all styled underneath my kitchen island later this week so y'all can see what they look like. But it's just beautiful, and I think it's got a really fun little vintage feel to it. Happy upcycling.